The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're taking a totally fascinating under-the-hood tour through a language builder's workshop. We're going to get right down to the nuts and bolts of how we actually communicate with one another.
So, let me ask you a question as we get started. Have you ever wanted to build your own language entirely from scratch? Just imagine being the architect of your very own way of speaking. No weird exceptions to memorize, like how in English, read rhymes with lead, but read also rhymes with lead. It's exhausting. Imagine dropping all that confusing historical baggage for just pure, logical, efficient communication. Well, that is the magic of what we call a conlang.
Okay, let's dive right into this. A conlang is a constructed language. It's a system that's planned or engineered intentionally. This is totally unlike natural languages, think English or Spanish, which just sort of organically, messily evolve over thousands of years through human interaction. With a conlang, someone literally sat down, drew up the blueprints, and designed the entire system on purpose.
And today, we have a very specific blueprint to examine. Here's our roadmap for the Explainer. We're opening 5 specific drawers in our linguistic toolbox. 1. Meet Bonumuk. 2. Adjective rules. 3. Conjugating verbs. 4. Using copulae. And 5. The art of compounding.
All right, let's pull open that first drawer. Section 1. Meet Bonumuk. Engineered for expression.
Bonumuk is a brilliantly crafted conlang designed by Dewotam Bogchi. And his whole goal here was to engineer a language with minimal grammar irregularities while still keeping it highly expressive. But what does that actually mean for you as a speaker? It means Bogchi designed Bonumuk to rely on a very small set of core root words. By combining those few roots, you can express thousands of complex concepts without ever having to memorize all the frustrating, unpredictable rules you'd find in a natural language.
So, how exactly does this language handle descriptions? Let's move to our first actual tool. Section 2. Adjective rules. Agreeing with the world.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer mathematical elegance of the system. In Bonumuk, an adjective isn't just a static, unchanging word. It actually changes its form to agree perfectly with the gender and number of the noun it's modifying. Look at how neatly the 6 suffix forms break down. You've got 3 genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter, and singular and plural for each. Masculine singular ends in a, and plural is ella. Feminine is a and ala. Neuter is u and ula. It's totally systematic and 100% predictable.
To truly see this in action, just look at this direct comparison. In English, the adjective good never changes, right? It's a good boy, a good girl, a good chair. The word is completely static. But in Bonumuk, the root word for good is bone. Because the word for boy, epitar, is masculine singular, the adjective takes the e suffix to become bone epitar. Girl, or winet, is feminine singular, so it takes the a to become bona winet. And chair, which is grusi, is a neuter object, making it bonu grusi. The adjective dynamically snaps into place to match its environment.
But wait, the logic of Bonumuk doesn't stop there. It also cleverly uses suffixes to handle the intensity of an adjective, what linguists call degrees. The basic, positive degree has no suffix at all. But if you want to compare exactly 2 things, you just add the comparative suffix ga. For 3 or more things, use the superlative ge. And here's the coolest part. Bonumuk even includes a specific ge suffix for the equivative degree. That's when 2 things are exactly equal. So instead of using a clunky phrase like as good as, you literally just use one simple suffix.
Moving right along, let's see how actions are executed. Section 3. Conjugating verbs, the systematic math of action.
If you've ever tried to learn a language like French or Spanish, you know verb conjugation can literally be a nightmare of irregular charts and exceptions. But Humuk, though, it treats verb conjugation like simple, predictable math. Let's walk through this formula. Take the verb to happen, which is hoggest. Step 1, drop the oos to isolate your root word, which is hog. Step 2, add your personal suffix, which for a third-person singular pronoun like it is ient. Step 3, add your tense suffix like ij for the present tense. Hog, ent, ij. Hog and tij. It happens.
As you can see, Bonumuk strictly and clearly defines these suffixes. There are exactly 4 tenses: present, ij, past, uj, future, aj, and continuous, And there are 7 personal pronouns, ranging from I to they, each with their own exact suffix. You literally just pick your actor, pick your time, and slot them together.
So it all boils down to this universal formula right here. Verb root plus personal suffix plus tense suffix equals action. It is exactly like snapping Lego bricks together in a highly modular, predictable way. No surprise exceptions. No memorizing bizarre past tense forms that look completely different from the root. It is just pure, beautiful grammatical logic at work.
But that brings up a really interesting problem. What if there isn't any action at all? Let's open the next drawer in our toolbox. Section 4. Using copulas, stating existence.
Think about this for a second. How exactly do you build a sentence like, I am in the class, or I am not at home? In these sentences, no one is actually doing anything. There's no traditional verb to conjugate using that math formula we just looked at. In English, we use words like is, am, or are, which are known as copulas, and we conjugate them constantly in wildly irregular ways. Bonumuk solves this beautifully. Instead of conjugating a main verb, it uses just 3 simple, fixed copulas as helping verbs to express time. Digi for the past tense, dem for the present tense, and del for the future tense. And here is the absolute best part. Unlike regular action verbs, these 3 copulas do not conjugate at all. What a relief, right? They stay exactly as they are to help state existence in time, keeping the sentence incredibly clean and simple.
Which brings us to the climax of our explainer today. How does a language with intentionally very few root words express complex modern ideas? We open our final drawer. Section 5. The art of compounding. Snapping the Lego bricks together. This brilliantly illustrates the true power of a well-engineered conlang. To create an entirely new meaning, Bonumuk simply mashes smaller, existing pieces together. For example, kuret is the root word for work. Domet is the root word for home. You snap them together to get kureto-domet, which translates to workplace or office. It is an incredibly intuitive way to build a vocabulary. But wait, look closely at that word. Did you notice the mysterious letter O right in the middle of kureto-domet? That is not an accident. That is what's called a buffer letter or a glide. See, when you mash 2 words together, sometimes the consonants clash and create a hard cluster, making it physically difficult to pronounce. The creator engineered these buffer letters, specifically vowels like O or consonants like Y inserted between roots, to provide absolute ease of pronunciation. It's a built-in design feature ensuring the language always rolls right off the tongue.
And it is strictly formalized for vowels too. If you combine dinu, meaning bright, with adinu, meaning dim, you can't just smash the u and a sounds together awkwardly. Bonumuk always requires the y glide for vowel compounding. So you get dinu ya dinu, bright and dim. This little detail proves the language creator truly thought of everything, engineering right down to the physical mechanics of speaking the words aloud.
Understanding a constructed system like Bonumuk really gives you a whole new appreciation for the hidden mechanics of human communication, right? It shows us how everything, from adjective agreement and verb conjugation to copulas and root compounding, can be engineered into a perfectly logical system. It seriously makes you look at your own native language a bit differently. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you were the architect of a brand new language, what unique grammatical rule would you invent to make the world communicate better? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.